Hello again, it's Jason Godbey from No Rest for the Weekend, here with a special interview. Joining me via Zoom, you know him from shows like Mad Men and the Academy Award winning Spotlight. His new film is Nuremberg, out November 7th. Mr. John Slattery. Welcome, John.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for doing this. I appreciate it, and congrats on the film. Uh, Fantastic film, great movie. At this point, we're days before opening. What does it feel like bringing this movie to the world?
I'm glad it's coming out in theaters. There's 1,200 screens. It's a big old school theatrical release, which is, I think, appropriate for the way it was made, shot, the subject matter, the obvious relevance to the world today. I think it's yeah, I think it's I'm excited to let people see it. I hope they do.
One of the things I was wondering, when you get a script like this, what was your first reaction when you read it?
I think my reaction to the script was much the same as my reaction to seeing the final movie was that how entertaining it was despite the gravity of the material. It was that he had put together a thriller about the lead up and execution of the Nuremberg trials. And so I don't know. I mean, I wanted to be a part of it. And now that it's done, I'm glad I am.
So you're playing Colonel Andrus in this. He's a real person. This is not your first time playing a real person. When you play a guy like that, like Robert Duvall said that when he played Stalin, at one point you're acting a history lesson. Do you feel any pressure from that? Like, were you guys? Did you feel obligated to the source material?
Well, yeah, you feel obligated to the person. I mean, I suppose, I mean, having never met this man and or anybody that knew him, he wrote a book. I read that, read all the source material I could come up with, but then the movie is not about this man. The movie, a contributor to the telling of the story. So you find a way to cherry pick the elements of his character that best serve the story, in conjunction with the director and who also happens to be the writer. So, there's a series of adjustments and which elements work best. But I mean, not to contradict the great Robert Duvall, but I don't think we wanted it to be a history lesson. We wanted it to be an entertaining thriller, which is, I think, what again what Jamie wrote, and and I think masterfully so. I think that's the best part of the thing is that it's is how um, exhilarating it is to watch.
Yeah, I was going to ask you because, this is not the first movie about Nuremberg, and it's certainly not the first movie about World War II. You talked a little bit about the significance. Like, why do we need this movie now in 2025?
Well, I mean, the relevance to what's going on, it couldn't be plainer, um, in the world, and how things are allowed to take place, and I mean, what has to happen for these events to take place, and what is the nature of the people who perpetrate those things versus the people who are witness to it. And so, it's the kind of thing you want someone to come and watch this film and then and contemplate those things and think about it. And hopefully the movie stays with them. And so, despite the fact that Jamie's been working on it for, I don't know, I think he said 16 years or 15 years or something, maybe a dozen, I forget, but a long time. The fact that it's coming out in this period in our history is more than coincidental.
I don't know how much of a history buff you are, but were there things that you learned about the trials and World War II, and like what was kind of, was there anything that shocked you about it that you didn't know before?
Um, I didn't know I didn't know that Doug Kelly was assigned to determine the fitness of the Nazis to stand trial. I didn't know that they all had their own counsel. I didn't know the transcript of the trial. I didn't know that that they had to be rehoused in another prison. I mean, I didn't know any of it. You know some. That's, I think, what's so good about it is it's a story that people know about. I mean, the occurrence of the trials, but I don't think, and I think it's just a specific angle. He's not trying to take on the whole thing. It's just a specific angle on the telling of the story that I think is really a smart way to get into it.
Was there anything in particular acting wise that you may do differently for a role like this in terms of, because I mean, is there, I've always wondered when people make an important film or a big historical film, do you have that sense on set? Is there like, hey guys, we're doing history here kind of a feel?
It's a good question. I don't know whether you can. I mean, you can't act that, so you have to find a way to, I guess, reflect the gravity of the situation. And I think between that cast that was assembled, everybody felt the obligation to bring their best work. And maybe that's a reflection on the characters in the story being obligated to not make any mistakes. To the eyes of the world were on this trial, and it was a high stakes, pressurized situation where of ultimate importance that these men be put on trial for what and show the world what they did. So I think there's a sort of the obligation of the actors was to sort of show that, a part of the story.
I feel like for this film, there's so many things that you could get out of it, in terms of like what to walk away with. Was there anything in particular that you walked away with, or that you'd want audiences to feel as they leave the theater?
I mean, I think what Rami's character says is, these there's no obvious difference between someone who would do this and someone who wouldn't couldn't conceive of it. And what is that difference? And he said, what does he say? That they're just like us. You know, I think that's what hit me when I saw it and when I read it. It was like, that's the question that you walk away with, I think.
Yeah, it's that banality of evil. And I'm going to wrap up in a minute, but one thing I wondered about you is like you tend to get these roles where you play like authority figures.
Which is ridiculous.
What is it about you that like people think you should be in charge of things?
I have no idea. I mean, I actually said that to Jamie Vanderbilt. I was like, I don't think I can do this. I don't think I can play this. I mean, if this is the way, when I read it, I was like, I don't know if I could do this. And he said, just do it, your own way. Just, you'll figure it out. And you sort of end up doing, I don't know, figuring out a way to do it. But it was daunting. I don't know. To answer your question, maybe it's the uniform. I don't know. The riding crop, you know.
I know you have other projects in the works. What can we look for you in after Nuremberg?
I just finished shooting a limited series for Netflix called Vlad, based on the novel by Julia May Jonas, Vladimir, with Rachel Weisz and Leo Woodall, who's also in Nuremberg.
Great. We'll look for you in that. Thank you so much, sir. I appreciate it.
This is the BTRP Media Network.